They should have let the league get that rush, that initial rush of media rights money in, and let the owners bathe in some actual profits for the first time ever before having done this. They jumped the gun. And they're going to, in part, pay the price for it.
That's the sound of a league that's never turned a profit in 29 years, being asked to guarantee $700 million in losses, and according to Breanna Stewart herself, the WNBA Players Association vice president, her brain is hurting from trying to make the math work. Unfortunately, she wasn't an economics major, her words. Not mine.
Starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, according to Breanna Stewart. And frankly, she sounds like they understand they're getting their asses handed to them. In the court of public opinion, forget about it. Forget about it. Fans are like, nah, we're seeing now what you are turning down. We're seeing the...
Here's what's actually on the table right now. The WNBA owners proposed 70% of net revenue, with a $5 million salary cap the players, countered with 30% of gross revenue and a $5 million salary cap, and the league hasn't even acknowledged that counter offer. They just went silent when a negotiating party refuses to acknowledge your proposal. They're telling you it's not even worth discussing. That's where we are 15 months after the players opted out of their CBA.
Quote, just starting to see a possible resolution to the talks. Interesting. The Liberty star and unrivaled co-founder is also the vice president of the WNBA Players Union. Make it make sense. Which has been pushing for a bigger share of league revenue. Stewart told reporters earlier this month that while WNBA players have the ability to strike, quote, in our back pocket, no strike was imminent. You know,
that clip again, different players are saying completely different things about where these negotiations stand. Breanna Stewart says she's just starting to see light at the end of the tunnel. And Fies Collier has been radio silent, while unrivaled crashes and burns with 40 to 70,000 viewers per game. Meanwhile, Kelsey Plum is out here talking about strikes being in their back pocket, and other players are mentioning potential lockouts. Does anyone actually know what's happening in these negotiations? Because from the outside, it looks like chaos. The timing couldn't be worse. These players co-founded Unrivaled as the sustainable alternative to the WNBA. Those were the actual words used in the marketing. Sustainable, and now they're watching Big Bang Theory reruns destroy their live sporting event in the ratings when your revolutionary new league is getting 40,000 viewers. That's not a league, that's a YouTube channel interview.
Quote, my brain is hurting. Mine too. From the range and complexity of the talks. Quote, unfortunately, I wasn't an economics major or anything like that, but we're trying to get the best deal possible, and we want to negotiate in good faith with the league. All right, let me concentrate on this first. The first.
Office Sports just released this statement from Stewart. We're waiting for some sign of progress or reassurance. Arriving in December. December showed up and disappeared, no agreement. Then they slipped in a line about missing total transparency across teams and league finances, becoming a flashpoint in labor negotiations. Stop right now. That's media shorthand for implying the NBA and WNBA owners are concealing revenue. They're quietly planting the idea that maybe the league turns a profit, but the owners refuse to reveal the true figures. That's not reporting, that's activism. And it exposes how tilted the narrative has become. We're discussing a league that's been propped up by the NBA for almost 3 decades. The claim that secret earnings are stashed away demands you accept that NBA owners would commit fraud simply to avoid compensating WNBA players fairly. Pause and consider what that charge truly suggests.
Around a salary cap of $5 million. Later, the union sent the league a new proposal that wants 30% of gross revenue. A salary cap of $10.5 million. It's the gross versus net that, again, it's only fair that they get a share if there's a profit. That's fair. You're not the NBA. You're not Major League Baseball. You're not even...
Now, this is where the tension really spikes. Adam Silver just stood on a stage in Berlin and revealed that the NBA wants to launch a women's league in Europe. Following the rollout of the men's version, his exact phrasing was, "We'd ultimately like to do a women's league in Europe if we can figure out the right model." Catch what he left out. He didn't say, "After we solve the WNBA model," he said, "if we can find the right model for Europe." That's not casual wording, that's a warning flare. The NBA is openly signaling alternative women's basketball ventures, while WNBA players are demanding 30% of gross revenue, and then came Breanna Stewart's response. I think that while that is exciting, we're kind of a long way from that. We have a lot of things to figure out, like the WNBA and how we really establish a formula where players are valued while also ensuring the league's success. Translation: please don't build a competing option while we're fighting to extract the strongest possible deal from our current employer.
After it launches a men's version, quote, "We'd ultimately like to do a women's league in Europe if we can figure out the correct model." Man, they are dead. Unrivaled. Woo! You're done for. The WNBA has historically reported losses, but the lack of full transparency around teams and leagues' books have been a point of contention in labor talks. Front office sports, stop it. Don't you dare print.
Let's break down what the players are actually walking away from. The current offer on the table would elevate the average WNBA player to $500,000 per year. By the end of the deal, players who earned $100,000 this season would see that figure quintuple in just a few years. Top-tier contracts would near $2 million annually, and it's all just sitting there, waiting to be signed. Meanwhile, the 7th and 8th rotation players, currently making $100,000, are watching this standoff unfold sooner or later. Those players are going to start asking the hard questions loudly, while Breanna Stewart and Fisa Collier can afford to play the long game thanks to massive equity and endorsement deals. The bench players don't have that luxury. The tension between the haves and have-nots is building. And that's
in order over here. Adam Silver would go on to say, hey, we're doing whatever's necessary to get the deal done, and they're available at any point. I don't know. I mean, light at the end of the tunnel.
Here's the core flaw in the players' negotiating strategy. They opted out of their CBA in February 2024, right before the league was poised to receive its first major surge of media rights revenue. That was a critical misstep they should have allowed the owners to experience real profitability for the first time in league history before demanding a bigger slice instead. They acted prematurely. They saw the media rights deal on the horizon and assumed that money would start printing automatically. But that's not how it works. A media rights deal doesn't instantly equal profit. The NBA's media rights are enormous because the league earns revenue from tickets, merchandise, international markets, and sponsors. The WNBA streams are still in. Development expansion fees? One-time windfalls, not a reliable annual engine. The difference between perception and reality is stark, and the players' timing exposed.
Tell me what you think. Make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed. Make sure you like, comment. blackandwhitenetwork.com, exclusive member content. Go sign up. There's some chinks in the armor now of the players. This is going to get done. I've got the over-under February 15th. I'm going to say it. February 15th, this deal's done, signed, sealed, and delivered. Tell me what you think.
Where does this spiral actually stop? The public opinion war is already lost for the players. Fans are watching them reject life-changing money while claiming they're undervalued. Fans are seeing unrivaled pull 40,000 viewers, while players demand NBA-level revenue shares the gap between them. Demands and reality couldn't be clearer. Here's the part nobody's mentioning. The players have already revealed their hand. Breanna Stewart admitted her brain is hurting from the complexity of the negotiations. She openly confessed she isn't an economics major. That's not the declaration of someone confident in their leverage. It's the admission of someone realizing the numbers don't add up. Adam Silver said the NBA is ready to strike a deal at any moment. He's not panicking. The owners aren't sweating. They understand the reality. Most WNBA players can't afford to miss paychecks. The early opt-out strategy vanished. The perceived leverage evaporated. Mark my words. February 15th, 2025. That's my over. Under for when this deal wraps, and it's going to look far closer to the owner's original proposal than the players' counter, because at the end of the day, the players are negotiating with a league that has never turned a profit. Meanwhile, Unrivaled is scraping sitcom-level numbers. The light at the end of the tunnel that Breanna Stewart glimpses, that isn't the glow of a favorable deal. That's reality breaking through. You can't demand 30% of gross revenue from a league losing money. You can't ask for $105 million salary caps when expansion teams are paying $350 million just to join. The math is relentless. Eventually, those 7th and 8th rotation players earning $100,000 will stare at the $500,000 average salary on the table and ask their union